there are things happening to you that you can't really explain to anyone. Patterns that feel far too precise to be random. Dreams that feel more real than your waking life. Insights appearing out of nowhere. And a strange ability to sense things before they happen. Carl Jung devoted his entire life to studying experiences like these. And what he uncovered was astonishing. These are not signs that you're losing your mind. They're signs that you're beginning to find yourself. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 powerful experiences Jung identified. Experiences that only emerge in spiritually awakened individuals. They're so distinct, so unmistakable, that once you recognize them, you'll know exactly where you are on your awakening path. And if you've been going through this, you'll finally understand why you felt so alone. Not because something is wrong with you, but because you're becoming aware in ways most people aren't yet. Here's what changes everything. Jung discovered that awakening isn't just a shift in perspective. It activates psychological functions that have been dormant within the human mind. These aren't metaphors. They're not abstract, spiritual ideas. They're real, observable inner processes that completely transform how you experience reality. And once they're activated, there's no going back. The first one might already feel familiar. If you're truly awakening. Jung called it synchronicity, but most people misunderstand what that actually means. It's not just coincidence with meaning attached. It's what Jung described as an acausal connection, a way reality begins communicating with you through patterns. That logic alone can't explain. Here's what only awakened individuals experience. Synchronicities stop being rare moments and become an ongoing dialogue. You think of someone and they call you minutes later. You ask a question and a stranger casually says the exact answer. You begin noticing repeating numbers. 1111, 333, 444, not once in a while, but multiple times a day. Books seem to fall open to the exact page you need. Songs carry messages that speak directly to your situation. Jung experienced this himself and documented it extensively. He wrote that synchronicities aren't random at all. They're the universe becoming aware of itself through you. But here's the part most people don't realize. These experiences intensify only when your consciousness reaches a certain level. It's like tuning into a frequency that was always there, but you couldn't hear before. One of Jung's patients, a rational scientist, described it perfectly. I used to live in a world governed by cause and effect. Now I live in a world of meaning and connection. Every day feels like reality is speaking to me through events that seem random, but clearly aren't. A billboard answers a question you had that morning. A bird appears exactly when you need reassurance. A song tied to someone you lost plays at the exact moment. You're making a decision they would have helped you with. But here's what only awakened people truly understand. You can't force synchronicities. The moment you try to control them, or use them for ego-driven reasons, they disappear. They only flow when you are aligned with what Jung called the self, your deepest, most authentic nature. It's as if reality itself knows when you're being genuine and when you're performing. And this leads to something difficult, a deep sense of isolation. How do you explain to someone that reality feels like it's communicating with you? That you're not imagining patterns, but actually perceiving a deeper level of connection? Jung referred to this as the unus mundus, a unified field beneath all existence. Most people won't understand. They'll assume you're projecting meaning or seeing things that aren't there. And you can't prove them wrong because synchronicities don't perform on command. They're not demonstrations. They're private exchanges between you and reality itself. Jung was very clear about this. The gift of awareness is also its burden. You begin to see what others cannot. And that creates distance between you and those who remain unaware. Synchronicity becomes your private language with existence. Beautiful, profound, and at times incredibly lonely. But the second experience goes even deeper. This was one of Jung's most important discoveries, and it's rarely talked about. He called it the transcendent function. Not transcendence in the spiritual escapism sense, but a psychological ability that emerges only in awakened individuals. The ability to hold opposites without needing to choose one. To exist within paradox without needing resolution. Here's what that actually looks like. While most people think in terms of either or, you begin to experience both at the same time. You can feel deep sadness and genuine joy simultaneously. You can see both the light and the shadow in someone at once. You can understand that life is meaningless and infinitely meaningful in the same moment. Jung described this as a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, a process where opposing forces don't cancel each other out, but give rise to something entirely new. Not a compromise, but a higher integration. Before awakening, you identify with one side. You're either logical or intuitive, spiritual or material, optimistic or pessimistic. After this function activates, you become all of these at once. You become what Jung called a living paradox, capable of holding contradictions. That would overwhelm an ordinary mind. One patient described it like this: "It felt like my mind expanded. I could hold everything at once. My mother's death was both the worst moment of my life and the greatest gift I ever received. Not one outweighing the other. Both completely true at the same time." This is why awakened individuals often appear confusing. You can be deeply spiritual, yet grounded, detached, yet fully committed, present, yet aware beyond time. To others, it looks inconsistent, but it's not confusion. It's wholeness. This function also brings something remarkable: spontaneous insight. Solutions appear without effort. Understanding arises without explanation. Creative ideas come fully formed. Jung didn't see this as mystical, but as collaboration between conscious and unconscious mind. However, there's a challenge. Once this ability develops, you can no longer participate in most human conflicts. Arguments require taking sides, but you see truth in both perspectives. Drama needs a victim and a villain. But you understand both roles. You become too aware of complexity to fit into simple narratives, too conscious of paradox to believe in rigid ideologies. Jung described this as becoming psychologically incompatible with systems that demand blind belief. And this leads directly into the third experience. Dreaming transforms. Everyone dreams. But Jung observed that in awakened individuals, dreams change completely. They stop being random or just reflections of daily life and become direct communications from the self, your deepest intelligence. Here's what changes. You become aware within your dream when not necessarily controlling them, but consciously present. You are the dreamer, the dream, and the observer, all at once. You receive guidance, insight, and experiences that stay with you, word for word. Jung documented this in his own life. He wrote that his dreams stopped being dreams and became visions, not signs of instability, but messages from deeper layers of the psyche. And then, something even more striking begins to happen. Dreams that later manifest in reality, not symbolically, but exactly. Conversations you dream happen word for word. People you've never met appear just as you saw them. Warnings come before events unfold. You're not predicting the future. It feels like you're remembering it. Some dreams go even further. Jung called them big dreams. They don't just inform you, they transform you. You wake up changed, as if you've lived through something more real than physical reality. Encounters with beings of light, journeys through unknown landscapes, symbols that reshape your understanding of existence, experiences of death and rebirth, so vivid they feel literal. But here's the hardest part. You can't truly explain these dreams. You can describe them, but you can't transmit their essence. It's like trying to explain color to someone who has never seen. People may listen, but they won't fully understand. They might think you're exaggerating or misinterpreting normal dreams, but you know the difference. These aren't symbols to decode, they're direct experiences. And slowly, your dream world becomes more meaningful. Then your waking life, you begin to look forward to sleep, not for rest, but for connection, for access to something deeper. Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." And in this case, awakening happens through a deeper form of dreaming.